Hello there. My name is Dr. Tolulope Adedayo Alugo. I'm a child and adolescent psychiatrist, and I'm passionate about empowering youth mental health. I do that through a number of ways. One is my clinical role as a child and adolescent psychiatrist. The second one is through empowering parents who care for kids with a mental health disorder. The third one is by providing information to the youth themselves, and I also have a podcast. I have a YouTube channel, Facebook page. I'm on Instagram, and I have a podcast called Walking on Eggshells with Dr. Tolu. So hopefully you're catching this broadcast on one of those different platforms. Today, I'm going to be talking about helping your child to prepare to go off to university, go off to college, or whatever third level options that they have decided to do. This can be a daunting time. I know, depending on where you live, some kids have already gone. Where I live, they're just about to go in the next 1 or 2 weeks, and I can really see moms and dads beginning to panic. So today, I thought we'll just discuss a couple of strategies that you or your child may find useful. Remember, if you find this information helpful, please share it. Also, please like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share the podcast, download it. Thank you very much in advance. So, let's start with a child who has a mental health disorder and is going off to university. This information today will be relevant to all parents, whether or not your child has a mental health diagnosis, but we'll start there first. So, for example, your child has a diagnosis of depression, anxiety, ADHD, whatever, and they're going off to university. There are a couple of things you want to ensure. Number one, are they currently seeing a healthcare provider? Are they seeing a specialist like a child and adolescent psychiatrist, for example, or is your family physician managing them? And what is that going to look like when they go off to university? Is their healthcare provider going to continue to look after them, or are they going to refer them on? Are they being referred back to your family physician? Are they going to be stable enough to be followed up by a family physician at their new location? Those are conversations that you really need to have quickly. Are they seeing a therapist? If they're seeing a therapist, are they at the point where the therapist feels they're stable enough, they know the skills, and has told them they don't need to be attached to somebody else? Or do they need ongoing therapy? In which case, have they been referred to somebody at their new location? So you need to do some investigative work, talk to their providers, call the university or college they're going to, find out about the student's health center and what's available. Some have family physicians who are linked to them who will take on students and may prescribe their medication or may they refer them on. Some would ask the specialists in their home location to refer to specialists in this new community that they're transferring to. Does your child have a disorder that needs special accommodations or special provisions to be made? You also want to contact student services regarding that to find out what information is required, what paperwork is required. Do they want a letter from their doctor stating their diagnosis and the recommended accommodations? And who do you send that to and at what point? So it's important to have that information, ready to go. For a child who appears to be stable, who may not currently need a therapist or a specialist intervention, you still want to have the information available as to if they were to deteriorate or have any challenges, how do they access services, who do they go to? So it's important to make all those inquiries. Number two, are they on medication? You want to look at the medication. So the current provider, are they going to keep prescribing? Are they asking that your child find a prescriber at a new location such that they can hand over prescribing to that individual? Do you have to switch their pharmacy to that new city? All those pros and cons are important. Has your child been managing their own medication at home? Really, at this point where they're going off to university or college, you want them to be independent enough to be managing their own medication. If you still feel that you need to remind them, you need to prompt them, you may want to ensure that their pharmacy makes this easier, maybe by blister packing the medication. using pill boxes that have every day of the week. Like, so they have their medication divided into days of the week. So they know what to take in the morning, at bedtime, and so on and so forth. You also want to consider safety. You don't want your child to have so much medication available to them in their rooms where other youth may have access to this medication, and increasing the risk, safety concerns for themselves or for other youth who may not be as safe as they are when it comes to being around medication. So those are the two things. So managing the disorder, the diagnosis, who's caring for your child, who's looking after their prescriptions, can they manage it? Is the pharmacy or is the prescription transferred? Are they being blister packed and so on? Then coming to, helping your child manage a transition that is potentially stressful. You want to help them to be as prepared as possible. So information is key. A lot of universities or colleges will have an orientation week that can be quite overwhelming. So you want your child to have looked at their schedule ahead of time, know where they should be at any point in time, know who to go to for help at their dorms on their resident floors, senior students that they can access help from or support. Are there activities that are in person, or are some of them virtual? Get a break from a very overwhelming, crowded situation, that is all day, every day. Are there some activities that are not mandatory, so they can also, again, take a break or attend in their own time virtually? Do they have friends who are doing the same program who can be a support to them, and so on? Help them to, look at, have they picked their courses by now? What's their plan for their day? Where should they be? Where are their classes going to be holding? Remind them to access available university support, access office hours for their professors, tutor support, small groups, and so on. So really take advantage of everything available to make every student thrive. Then you want your child to be safe. So we like, as parents, we like to bury our heads in the sand and believe our kids will never experiment with things that are dangerous. They'll be the perfect child. And if your child is like that, great. But you want to also prepare your child from, as they go from an environment that's where they're very well cocooned to where there's a bit more freedom, a lot more options and choices of things that they can partake in, and you want them to be safe doing so. So you want your child to potentially be able to experiment but be safe doing so. So ensure that they have enough information about, recreational substances, drugs, how this can affect their mental health, how, they can put themselves in risky situations. If they're going to be drinking, you want to, let your child know to not get into a car with anybody who has been drinking, not driving intoxicated themselves, choose an Uber to get home, for example, or have somebody who's not drinking drive them. Hang around with a safe group of friends so they're not left intoxicated in a strange environment with strangers. If they go to the washroom, for example, and leave their drink, not continue with the same drink because it could have been spiked. There's so many things that you want to try and help your child potentially prepare for. If they're going to be indulging in sexual activity, are they ensure that they're protected from sexually transmitted infections? Are they using emergency contraceptives? Do they know how to access these things? You want to ensure that they have all that information and just be as, help them have a very open conversation where they can actually talk to you about this potentially dangerous situations. Again, remind them sexual consent provided when somebody is intoxicated may not be valid consent. No means no. So just really begin to have those conversations. If you have not already started to have them up till this point in time, it is never too late to do so. Again, early intervention, if they're beginning to struggle with academics, with being on task, feeling overwhelmed, you want them to get help early rather than towards the end of the semester or well into the second semester when things have really gone awry. You want to help them to prepare to in case they're struggling. You want to encourage them to have fun, enjoy the experience. It's fun to be living home, be an adult, being independent. So they should have fun. You don't want them to go away fearful of, oh, what if, what if, what if. Have fun, but also be safe. That's what we're trying to say. So have a balanced view of the world as they proceed to be more independent. For you as a parent, you also want to manage your own anxiety, because if you are really stressed about it, then you're kind of projecting this anxiety to them, and they can respond by being extremely fearful themselves, or being so reckless because they want to have nothing to do with your anxiety. So just have, managing your anxiety, having open conversations, and also you need to also have fun. If this is your first child who's living home, or any child at all who's living home, it's an experience for you. You need to enjoy the experience, seek support from your friends, equip yourself, and enjoy the ride. It's a lifetime. You're making history. You're both making history as a family. You're making history, siblings. Just trying to involve everybody in the process and all of that. So I hope that these tips have helped you today. I hope that as your child proceeds to university, they have a fun time, they have a successful year, they get all the support that they need, and you get all the support that you need. So remember, St. John Cap, available on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. Remember the Walking on Eggshells with Dr. Tolu podcast, where we have lots of snippets to help you manage yourself and also your child's mental health challenges. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and very soon we're going to be talking more about how you handle yourself as an empty nester, because now your child is going off to university. Is it the first or second or third child? Who knows? You need to begin to handle your own emotions as you go through these transitions. So until we speak again, remember, early intervention makes a difference. Youth mental health is important, and there's always help available.